The Boston Celtics just made a sneaky good signing right before the start of the 2025-26 NBA season. We tell you about this college standout and a guy who has once previously been in the Boston organization. We get you all the latest info on the Celtics right here, right now on Celtics Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. Got a pretty good signing, I would say, to talk about in today's show. But before that, this is exactly why you should hit that subscribe button. You see, when breaking news happens, when the Celtics make a signing, we make a video, and yet 71% of you who watch these videos, you're not yet subscribed. I don't know what you're waiting for, because the season starts legit in less than a week when Boston will be at the Garden opening up against the 76ers. So I tell you right now, this is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button. It'll be the best decision you make all season long, and the season hasn't even started yet. We go to the report from Shams Charania. The Boston Celtics are signing Ron Harper Jr. to a two-way NBA contract. Agent Jrue Gross of WM Basketball tells ESPN. Harper earns a Celtics roster spot and enters a fourth NBA season after having a strong preseason. So Ron Harper Jr. is officially on the Celtics in a two-way deal. It was an Exhibit 10 for a little bit, and he is now officially a part of the roster. He takes the final two-way slot for the Boston Celtics. I'd say a pretty good signing for a couple different reasons, which is kind of what we'll get to in today's show. But first of all, let's look at his stats from prior years in the NBA, because this is his now fourth season. If we look prior, nothing to write home about. Started his career in Toronto, in which he appeared in 9 games back in the 2022-23 season. Nothing really to write home about. 5.3 minutes per game, and he got a 100% free throw percentage, on top of which just 2.2 points per game. Nothing to show for that. 1 game with Toronto in 2023-2024, no points per game. And then played in 1 game with the Detroit Pistons after being in their G League system for a little bit, and he ended up with a 4 points in that game on 17 minutes. So nothing crazy to write home about. He was a very good guy with the Celtics in the preseason, though, because if we kind of go back to his preseason stats, we can see that it is a relatively good first couple games for him. We talk about the first game versus Memphis, in which he appeared and had 15 minutes and 5 points, 3 points in the loss to Toronto, 5 points in the win against Cleveland as well in 7 minutes. So didn't appear in last night's game against the Raptors, but either way, had 3 games under his belt, and I think he's really developed a pretty good relationship with the Boston Celtics, and now will be joining the team on a two-way contract, which is definitely something that the Celtics continue to try and figure out their roster. And I will say this is a bit of a trying to get draft picks and trying to make that roster go down. We'll kind of tell you why. So, two-way contract. What does this mean? So, he is able to play 41 games with the Boston Celtics and 41 games with the Maine Celtics. Now, he is somebody that I believe will actually be in a position to play a decent amount of games with the Celtics, and a lot of people really enjoyed watching him over preseason and over his time in training camp and throughout his tenure, let's say, with the Boston Celtics. Now, why is that? Why do we know that? Well, first of all, I think you have to go back and look at his college stats and look at what he is able to do when he can perform to the top of his level. 4 years at Rutgers, and we look to his senior year, which was his best season back in 2021-2022. Had 32 games, 34 minutes per game, 15.8 points per game, turned over the ball a little bit more than he would want at 1.6. Stole the ball, though, as well, so kind of made up for it. But his rebounding, 5.9, like free throw percentage is good, 3-point percentage, field goal percentage, all really solid numbers. And a very good defense guy as well. The vibe around the organization with him was that he is somebody that they can trust to put out there. And the funny thing about this is we know that all the roster moves that were made this offseason for the Boston Celtics, talking about trading Kristaps Porziņģis, talking about trading Jrue Holiday, letting Luke Kornet, Al Horford walk, and kind of restructuring and reshaping this team. Well, one of the trades was for Kristaps Porziņģis. You ended up getting Georges Niang and then traded him away to the Utah Jazz for R.J. Lewis Jr. Well, funny enough, he was a move in this as well. In fact, he was the other move that occurred in all this. The Boston Celtics, yesterday, we have waived R.J. Lewis Jr. Truly, this tells me two things. The first one is that the Boston Celtics are strictly looking to try and figure out money-wise what they can do to get on the first apron still without trading in for any Simons at this point, or at least just take down some money that's not useful to them. And R.J. Lewis Jr., they didn't seem to like or want. On top of all this, it also tells me that Ron Harper Jr. impressed them enough that they believe that roster spot, I know it's two ways different, but that spot should go to him over R.J. Lewis. So that's a kind of an intriguing thing. And I think a lot of it does have to do with I said it earlier about the chemistry that Ron Harper Jr. has with the Boston Celtics, and specifically with Joe Mazzulla. Because if you kind of look at this report here, Mazzulla and Harper Jr., they talk a lot about kickboxing and UFC. That's a mutual interest for them in a way. Well, funny enough, he was asked about talking about Mazzulla, and apparently Mazzulla enjoys jiu-jitsu chaining. And here's what Ron Harper said, quote, "He invited me to a couple of them sessions before, but I had to politely decline," he said with a grin. And I can just kind of picture Ron Harper Jr. Plus, kind of a random fact here, random knowledge, but the fact that Joe Mazzulla does jiu-jitsu just makes so much sense to me, and I can't explain why, and I can't tell you why it makes sense, but it 100% does. It just is like such like, oh yeah, of course he does. Like that's such a Joe Mazzulla thing to do, so kind of a funny story there. He does get the final two-way roster spot after his second training camp in Boston. I mentioned in the start of this video that he had time with Boston. It was last year with the 2024 season, 2025 season. He was there with training camp. Ended up with the Pistons when it was all said and done. And I fully believe that he's going to be in a better situation. I think it's just another way that we can look at this and see that, guess what? The Boston Celtics truly do like Ron Harper Jr. They truly do believe that he could be a good piece for this team, I think is the best way to put it. He could be a piece that is useful to this team and useful for the squad, over time. So obviously, I know it's just a small signing, but we've seen him in previous years. We've seen him in college being at Rutgers, not too far away. So I want you to grade this signing for me because I know if you're still watching, you're a true diehard Celtics fan. So grade the signing of Ron Harper Jr. for me, A, B, C, D, or F. I said FR, but it's just F. You can type FR if you want. But A, B, C, D, or F, let me know what's the grade you're giving the signing here of Ron Harper Jr. I'm giving this a C. I think obviously the Celtics have enjoyed having him around, having him for a second training camp. This time they want him on the two-way contract. They want him to be a bigger role potentially with this team. So I'm not going to say A or B because let's be honest, he's a two-way guy. I don't see him being this major contribution, but at the same time, he could end up being more of a contribution than what most people think, especially with a two-way contract. There's a lot of people that can come in here and do a lot of things. I hate to bring up the bad news, but J.D. Davison and the way that he's doing stuff with the Rockets right now, and the Rockets needing a point guard, and I know the Celtics had him, and they don't really need a point guard, but he's doing some good things over there in Houston, so something to know that he has a two-way contract, and I believe we'll have a pretty good sign over there in Houston. Well, I believe the same thing can be true for Ron Harper Jr. We appreciate you watching. We hope you have a great day here on this Thursday, and we'll keep you all updated on the latest Celtics news, information, and rumors when we get them here on the show. So we love you. We'll see you next time here on Celtics Digest. Peace out, guys.